Hello Brawlhallers, it's Berthan here with a guide on Ragnir, focused around his signatures, starting off with the Katars. Ragnar's Katar signature has very good upward range, so it can actually beat out a lot of moves that are going downwards, like down airs and ground pounds. So it's very good to contest those kinds of moves with the neutral signature, because most of the time you will win as long as you time it correctly. It looks like it almost hits grounded too, so because it breathes fire right out of this mouth and then it jumps up, so it makes sense that it would hit on the ground, but it doesn't. Unfortunately, the fire that it breathes right out of its mouth doesn't actually have any hitboxes, and the bottom flame doesn't have any either, so it hits slightly above the ground. So if you try to hit this Vol that is jumping right now grounded, then it doesn't work. It hits very slightly above. So even though the fire is on her head, it doesn't hit her, unfortunately. So you have to make sure that the enemy is jumpy, so that you can actually hit this move, because it does not work grounded. It has decent damage and decent force, but most of the time it doesn't do the max damage unless you catch them right at the beginning. So most of the time it hits for about 22-ish damage, which isn't that much, sometimes 20. And if you hit them by the side, when there's no ground to hit into, then it can knock the enemy out at 150 damage, which is pretty good. But if it does hit the ground, then it slows them down most of the time and doesn't really go that far, just like that. So it only has good force when you're by the edge with no ground. So since this move hits diagonally, it's really good to catch jumpers that are just jumping right in front of you, like right here in this area. And even if they don't jump in front of you, you can still catch them with a really good speed dodge. So if they're like jumping over here, they're afraid to go forward, you can go ahead and chase and then speed dodge into a cancel neutral signature, and it'll catch them. So very good move. Just if the enemy is jumping a lot in general, use this a lot. And I say to use this a lot because it has low startup, short active frames, and decent recovery frames, which means that if you use it in the right positionings, then it's very hard to punish. So you can use this a lot of the times against jumpers without having to worry too much about being punished, as long as you're not too predictable and you can aim it well. So overall, Ragnar's Katar neutral signature is a very good move that can catch a lot of people who jump constantly, which happens quite frequently in this game, where people would just constantly jump around hoping that you miss a grounded move that doesn't reach them. But you have this move that would reach very far diagonally, so you can use that. Ragnar's Katar side signature reaches very far with decent startup and doesn't hit up close, so it can hit them this range away. But if you try to do it up close to them, like right here, then it doesn't work. Like even if you're not touching their hitbox, you're just near them, it doesn't work. So make sure you don't try to do that. So only hit them when they're pretty far away. Even though it has pretty good reach, it doesn't have a lot of range. If we just pause it here, you can see it doesn't have that much range. A lot of move will outrange it, so make sure you don't try to contest with other moves. Like if they're holding a signature or something, don't try to contest with this, because it will not work out in the end. This is just good for catching people off guard, like they're trying to play footsie with you on the ground. They're doing this, trying to bait out like a sidelight because you can't reach them, but then you go in side signature far away, and that will catch them off guard. And then sometimes they dodge forward, and then you can use your normal light attacks. But if they just don't want to engage, go ahead and do this to break the neutral game. It has really good damage and force, so from the side of the map, you can kill the Val at 150 damage. And the damage is 24, which is pretty good for a move that's like this fast and this hard to punish. It also has pretty long active frames, which makes it very hard to spot dodge and back dodge as well. So if the enemy tries to spot dodge, then you can use this move, and a lot of the times it will actually connect with them because it lasts for a long time. Not as long as a dodge, but it lasts almost as long. So most of the time it will hit as long as you time it decently well. You don't really have to time it that well. Just wait for like a split second and then go in, and it will most of the time hit them. So overall, this is a very strong move against opponents that are quite grounded and they don't like to do a lot of attacks, so you can just hit them off guard. If they try to dodge it or back dodge, then a lot of times you will still catch them because of the long active frames. Ragnar's guitar down signature has very good range if you use it properly. It can outrange most grounded moves in the game, so as a demonstration we'll have blasters, which is one of the longest range weapons in the game. Use neutral light here, send right outside of its range, and just go down signature and it'll beat it. So as you can see, you can pretty much contest any move in the game on the ground, and you win out if you down signature. It doesn't have a lot of damage and force, so 22 damage, and it doesn't kill them at 150, so it's not that good. It has good stats for spamming. It has short startups, short active frames, and decent recovery frames, so it's pretty hard to react to and pretty hard to punish as well. Something really cool about it is that it actually shoots below where you started. So you see here, you can stand on the plat and shoot below it. So this is really good for just edge guarding. The enemy can be around here, and then you can go ahead, stand here, down signature, and the best part is that you actually jump backwards. So you're far away from the enemy. It's gonna be very hard to punish you when they're below and you're just jumping up here with the hitbox right in between. So very strong for edge guarding, and as shown earlier, the force is pretty good, and because it shoots right below you, you can something you can do is jump straight up and then gravity cancel into a down signature. What this does is it prevents you from getting hit by pretty much any ground move. Some you can still get hit by some, but like sword downlight, gun downlight, spear neutral light, hammer downlight, none of that can hit you from here, and meanwhile you're just doing a down signature on them and it'll still hit them because it shoots downwards. So it's pretty awesome for that. If you see a lot of people just like fishing for that downlight on sword, hammer, or whatever, then you go ahead and you do this, and then it counters all of that while doing some decent damage onto them. So overall, this is another fantastic move that can be used very frequently against grounded players and when you're just edge guarding. So in summary, the guitar signatures are all very good and well rounded to cover each other. So if the enemy is very grounded, you can use down sig a lot. If they jump a lot, neutral sig, and if they don't do much, then you can side signature a lot. Ragnar's neutral signature on axe has really good range, so it can out-prioritize a lot of moves that are going downwards. It does great damage and force. It has 27 damage and knocks out the enemy at just 150 health. And it does it off the top too, so you can pretty much do this anywhere on the map. You don't have to be by the side, in the center, or on the right. As long as you hit a neutral signature above the platform at 150, you're pretty much guaranteed a kill. This is a very safe move because it has low startup, long active frames, and decent recoveries. So not only can the enemy not see this coming, but even if they do, there's a huge wall of fire above you. So if they're above you, they can't really go forward, and it has pretty decent recovery, so you can move right away and not get trapped in place. You can do sideline to neutral signature at white and yellow damage for a very tight string, and it does about 12 more damage than the standard sidelight into downlight combo. It only works if you hit your sidelight close to the enemy though, so if you hit it too far, they get pushed out too far back and it doesn't connect. Overall, the neutral signature is a very strong and safe move to use against enemies above you, as well as a really solid finishing move at red damage. Ragnar's axe side signature has pretty good range. It can outrange most grounded moves in the game while not having too much dead space, so you don't have to worry about hitting them too close up. It has good damage and great force, being able to kill the enemy at just a measly 130 damage at dark orange, and it does 24 damage, so overall a very rewarding move to land. It covers a good amount of area, but mostly on the ground, so it's not so good against jumpy players. Similar to the guitar's down signature, it hits slightly below as well, but it's not as safe because it actually moves you forward rather than propelling you backwards. So if you do miss, then you're right next to the enemy and you can be quite punishable. So pretty much same thing, you can use this as an edge guard, or you can use this to jump slightly above the enemy and gravity cancel side signature to avoid the grounded hits while still being able to hit them. It has pretty high startup frames, so it's very easy to react to. As you can see, he actually breathes fire onto his axe and then he launches forward. So it's very easy to react to and dodge out of the way. So it's best to use it as like a read for enemies who dodge backwards or are about to do a poorly spaced attack. So overall, it's a very high risk, high reward move that can be very rewarding at times, but it can be dodged and punished somewhat easily. So I recommend only using it when the enemy is at high damage so that you actually do get a kill if you succeed for the amount of risk that it takes. Ragnir's axe down signature actually has pretty short range for the small amount of hitboxes that it has, so we do it here, it doesn't hit, and we turn on the blaster's neutral light, it does hit. So it's outranged by that. Meanwhile, if you do it too close, then it actually doesn't hit either because it has like a huge dead zone. So you can't hit them when they're right in front of you, but you can't hit them when they're too far either. So hitboxes are pretty bad overall. It has great damage, but pretty low killing potential. As you can see, the damage is 27, and this is hitting the Ana that far at 170 damage. So it doesn't even kill at 170 damage compared to the neutral signature, which kills at 150 damage. At 150, the down signature barely hits them away. So there's not very much redeeming features about the hitboxes that I can say. Doesn't hit that far, it doesn't hit that close, and it doesn't hit when the enemy jumps because it's so short. And to make it worse, it has a decent amount of startup frames but very high amount of active frames and recovery frames, making it one of the most punishable moves in this game. Similar to Ogrim's lance down signature, you can actually hold the heavy attack to extend his active frames, which is useful if the enemy is just using an attack that moves them forward and isn't that far ranged, or they simply walk into your down signature. Both scenarios are quite rare and very hard to prepare for in the first place. But something sorta cool you can do because of this is to speed dodge off of the platform and then quickly turning around into a down signature. So here's the inputs there. So you run, dodge right here, and then in the middle of the dodge turn around and then hold down, press signature. And if you hold it, you can actually just like slide off the whole way and hit the whole wall. So that's pretty cool. I don't recommend using this for more than like once per game though, because it exposes your hitbox quite a lot and you go really low. So if the enemy just dodges it, they can punish you. They just reverse the situation, maybe ground pound you, down air you, and you're dead. So it can like surprise the enemy maybe once a game, but after that, they will probably dodge it because it's so slow and then punish you. So you don't want that happening. This move is basically an inferior version of Ogrim's lance down signature. It just has less range, less hitboxes, and less killing potential. So I recommend using this very rarely, if at all. In summary, the axe has two pretty good signatures and one not so good one. The only move you should use frequently is the axe neutral signature, while the other two are more situational. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And I'll see you guys next time.